your source for Georgia politics. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution's trusted veteran political voices. Politically Georgia podcast is now 5 days a week. Listen weekdays at 10 a.m. on WABE 90.1. Stream at ajc.com/podcasts.
New on Curiosity Stream. We've walked with dinosaurs. We've explored our prehistoric planet, and we were always told the same story. Extinction came from the sky. But what if dinosaurs survived? Amazing Dino World 2. Watch it now on Curiosity Stream. With monthly, annual, and bundle plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
Our area's most beautiful properties deserve the finest realtors. Meeks Realty Group. We focus on buying and selling residential and commercial properties throughout the tri-state area. Contact Meeks Realty Group online at meeks.us or call 304-440-1101.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Thursday morning to you. Welcome to the show, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline, 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text, 304-935-5008. We're brought to you by the Thornhill Auto Group, including the all-new Thornhill Toyota on the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 in Chapmanville. We're continuing to help them celebrate the grand opening of their all-new Toyota facility there in Chapmanville. Next Wednesday, the stations of WVRC Media Charleston, all of us, V100, 96.1 KWS, 98.7 The Mountain, The Beat, all going to be broadcasting live again throughout the day there from Thornhill. Visit them online, ThornhillToyotaWV.com. And we do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Tonight's the night. Par-Mar presents Wally and Wimpy's Night at Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lane, starting at 6. Come out and enjoy some food and drink specials. Lots of prize giveaways, including tickets to the Salango Law Light the Night at the ballpark, plus WVU and Marshall basketball tickets and more. Wally and Wimpy's Night happening tonight, 6 at Buffalo Wild Wings and Cross Lanes, presented in part by Par-Mar. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. Coming up on the show this morning, Ellen Allen, no relation, from West Virginians for Affordable Health Care is going to be stopping by the studio. There's the legislature last year put a cap basically on insulin, and they're trying to get the word out about this to those that need insulin to let them know that, the price is pretty much capped on that. Ellen Allen's going to join us to talk about that. Plus, coming up a little later on this show, Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler is going to be stopping by. Let me welcome in first thing this morning, though, a delegate and candidate for governor, Capito. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show, and let me wish you and yours a very happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas, Dave. It's great to be with you. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here. And I know you've been doing a lot of traveling around the state, as have all the gubernatorial candidates. But when you go out to speak more to a group of people, and you can name the group or the community, knowing that the Republican voters are faced with a tough decision come next May, yourself, Attorney General Patrick Morrisey, Chris Miller, Secretary of State Mac Warner, what do you tell those voters that you hope to accomplish if elected governor? Because they've got a choice to make. They got some good Republicans running there. You would probably admit that as well. What do you tell them?
Well, let me start by saying that the first thing we do, any place we go, is listen. You had asked me what I would sort of talk to them about. I sort of prefer to lead with my ears. As you know, we talk about this all the time on your show, and we've done it throughout the campaign that I'm the get-it-done conservative in this race. And what that means is for the people of West Virginia, this is about having somebody as their next leader that has a proven track record of getting things done that have really moved the needle. When you look at where we are as a state in West Virginia, we've got really great momentum. We've turned massive budget deficits into surpluses. We've been able to pass the largest tax relief package in the history of the state of West Virginia. as chairman of the Judiciary Committee, I was at the tip of the spear in passing the most conservative agenda in the history of the state. So really the difference is when the people of West Virginia look at the choices that they have is, do we want somebody that has the energy and the grit and the record of bringing people together, building consensus, and delivering to solve the issues that make all of our communities stronger?
You said you go out more and you listen to people. Okay, that's always a good thing to do. What are they telling you?
At the end of the day, Dave, I think West Virginia is such a special place. No matter where you go, whether you're in southern West Virginia or you're in along the Ohio Valley or in the northern Panhandle or the eastern Panhandle or somewhere in between. People have their regional concerns, regional successes, regional struggles, of course. But there is this underpinning that we have in West Virginia, this sort of community and cultural and family value system that runs through our bloodline here in West Virginia. And as a lifelong West Virginian and as a father of 2 children, I can tell you that many of the concerns and many of the things that I want to see in West Virginia are similar to those that so many West Virginians want to see. We want good roads to be able to travel to and from a good paying job. We want good educational opportunities for our children so that they can have the opportunity to make the choice someday to stay in West Virginia. As I mentioned, I've got 2 young kids, and I want them to just have a choice. I want them to have a choice when they're looking at what to do and where to raise their families, that they can look at West Virginia and say, I have every opportunity right here. And if we give them that opportunity, I'm fully confident that they'll make the choice to stay because we want to be around our family. We want to have the safest communities in the country. Dave, I talk about this all the time. We have the opportunity and a sticky proposition here in West Virginia with low cost of living, low density housing. You want to live in the mountains, you want to live on the water, you want to work with your hands, in the office, remote, all of these different options. But we have safe communities here in West Virginia, and we need to double down on that. We need to make sure that our police and our firefighters have the resources that they need, because people will come to where there are safe communities because that's where they want to raise their children.
Talk about we talked about how you get people to stay. How do we get people to move into West Virginia? Because we can't sustain all these things are great that's gone on the legislature and these from Nucor and all these other jobs, but we need people to be willing to move here as well. How do we market West Virginia to look at these people, younger people, which is what we want, to come in? How do we look at them and say, okay, you need to come to West Virginia. You may not have ties here, but we need you here.
Absolutely. I think it's a great question. Dave, I come from a generation that's been lost in West Virginia, and I've stayed. And the future of this state is deeply personal to me. And one of the reasons that it's so personal to me is because we need to bridge the gap of that generation that we've lost. And the way that we do that is bring people here to West Virginia. We've started doing that through taking great ideas and turning them into good policy. Particularly as it relates to our tax policy. When people look at places where they want to go, they look at the personal income tax. We've lowered that. We have triggers in place to continue to reduce the personal income tax in the state of West Virginia. We have to expand our educational opportunities. Of course, that means providing parents with more choices. That means providing more resources in the classroom for our teachers so that they can continue to inspire our children, lowering that class size so we can have more specialized attention on our students. Those are the things. It's not a complicated structure, but we just have to make sure that the structure is in place to support that growth. And we have to go out and tell our story. I mean, I'm a guy that goes out every day and talks about how incredible this place that we have is. We have so many opportunities here, and outside of all of the things that I just mentioned, we have the natural bounty to grow, and that's what we need to market. That means our natural resources and our fossil fuels and what sits underneath our feet, but that also means what's above that ground. The beautiful trees, the water, the mountains, all of these things are what people are looking for. Space to move around, places to recreate. All of those things we need to take to the rest of the country and to the rest of the world, and we're starting to see it as an effective strategy under Governor Justice. He's done a great job, and we're ready to take that to the next level.
Talking to Delegate and candidate for Governor Moore Capito here on the show, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. From kitchens to paints to decks, straight framing wood, roofing metal, and anything else you'll need, you'll find it at General Hardware and Lumber of Winfield. What was your takeaway from the I almost hesitate to call it a debate, but the sit-down that you had in Morgantown with Hoppy a couple of weeks ago, yourself and Mac Warner and Chris Miller taking part in that, Attorney General Patrick Morrissey was not. What was your takeaway from that, and were you bothered by the fact that Patrick Morrissey wasn't there?
This was the biggest, this is the biggest interview that I think any of these candidates will endeavor to take on, at least to this point. And I say interview because it's an opportunity for West Virginians to get to know the person that they want to lead this state. Last week, when we sat down, had our sit down, that makes me sound like when I was like a kid, I was in trouble. A sit down. But
you got called to Mr. Kirchable's office.
Yeah, I got called up. Yeah. It was a great environment to be able to discuss important issues that are facing West Virginians. We felt very good about how it went. Obviously, we talked about our plan to increase educational opportunities. We talked about our plan to build more infrastructure and better opportunities for the communities that need that critical infrastructure. We talked about taxes and all sorts of things. And again, this is an interview. And so the more opportunities that the people of West Virginia have to get to know us, the better. But what I can tell you is, having driven 60,000 miles plus over the course of this campaign, we are showing up to every community, driving to every community, because we want to be able to talk to the voters face to face and know what's going on in their lives and at their kitchen tables. Because I can tell you, I have a kitchen table at home, and we talk about what's going on in our lives, and I want to know what's going on in all West Virginians' lives.
You know, more West Virginia is doing pretty well right now, but it's not perfect. A very, very, very broad question here. But do you have a plan of attack when it comes to some of these problems with like DHHR and corrections and opioids? I know you can't answer that with 90 seconds, but I mean, do you have a basic idea of how you start if you're elected governor on day one on how to address some of these things?
Well, as the Get It Done conservative, it's all about, number one, listening. It's bringing people together, and then it's executing on a plan. You talked about places in the state that probably aren't feeling as good. We've had some good wins, as you mentioned, with Nucor and Procter & Gamble and some of the investments we've seen around the state. We have to focus on what the problems are regionally and what the needs are for growth. When you go to southern West Virginia, we have to continue to build on some of our roadways down there. We know on the Gorge, for instance, we need some of our critical infrastructure like sewage and water. When you go to the Eastern Panhandle, we need to widen our roads so we can sort of relieve the traffic that's up there with the growth that we're seeing in that part of the world. Some of the broadband spots that we're seeing that are blank still need filled in. So these are regional issues, and I can talk about it because I've been there. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to look at each part of West Virginia as a unique opportunity to build, because we have so much to offer, and I'm committed to telling that story.
What makes Moore Capito the best candidate for the next governor of West Virginia? And you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I'm going to give you another chance to close it out with this. Just as your plea to the people of West Virginia, they're going to be facing in this Republican primary, yourself and three others. And of course, there's also another Republican. There's a Libertarian that's going to be in it. I've got her scheduled at some point. What makes Moore Capito the best of the bunch?
Thanks, Dave. I'm a West Virginian for West Virginia. I'm a lifelong West Virginia. I'm the father of two children. I'm living what so many West Virginians are living right now, trying to raise a family right here, trying to bring young people to West Virginia, trying to grow an economy where we have new opportunities, where we sustain the opportunities that we have, and where we create a 21st century hub for new opportunities so people can live, work, raise a family, and ultimately retire in this beautiful place that we all call home. I'm someone that has gotten it done. I'm the Get It Done conservative. I will continue to get it done because I've gotten it done.
Delegate and candidate for governor, More Capito, appreciate you being here. Where can people learn more about your stance on various issues? Your
Come
websites?
to morecapito.com. Check us out. I'm sure I'll be seeing you out on the campaign trail. I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. May your season be filled with meaningful and restful love with family and friends.
I like that restful part. That's good for somebody that works a lot. All right, More Capito, appreciate you being here. Hang out with me 1 second. It's 9:21, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Meeks Realty Group. As a locally owned real estate powerhouse, they specialize in residential and commercial properties. No property too big or too small for Meeks Realty. With their team of the finest realtors in the business, Meeks Realty Group is your trusted partner in finding your dream home or that dream commercial investment. Call them today, 304-401-1101, or visit Meeks.us. Alan Allen from West Virginians for Affordable Health Care coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Hi, this is Eric J. Tarr with the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. The families here at Generations Physical Therapy, Snap Fitness, General Hardware, and many others here in our region are wishing that your family has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
The time is finally here. It's the grand opening celebration of the all-new, redesigned Thornhill Toyota. Your next Toyota is waiting on the Thornhill Motor Mile in Chapmanville. Hey, this is Sydney, and I'm so excited to finally invite all of you to visit our new Thornhill Toyota facility. And just in time for Toyotathon, we're loaded and ready for your visit with the most inventory of the year of new Toyotas, certified Toyotas, and quality used vehicles. The grand opening celebration of the all-new Thornhill Toyota. Offers begin online at ThornhillToyotaWV.com and drive on home from the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all the great details.
Hello, this is Richard Lindsay. I want to take a moment and recognize the people of Kanawha County who improve and enrich our lives every day. Our volunteers, our folks that protect us, our folks that serve, our advocates, our folks that care for the sick, our teachers, our folks who feed the poor and house the homeless, our folks that spread and live the Word of God. Thank you for all that you do. And from my family to yours and to everyone, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Elevators. You take them for granted until they let you down. If you're working to maintain a stellar reputation, then let me introduce you to DC Elevator. We want to work with you to make sure your people get where they are going. What could be better than a new company coming to the area and already having 45 years of experience? DC Elevator is bringing a new culture of elevator maintenance, repairs, modernization, and installation to West Virginia. Don't leave your people hanging. For a free consultation, call DC Elevator at 304-345-7222.
It is 9:24. Piggly Wiggly Hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Husson's Pizza. This month at your favorite Husson's. Get the special holiday pack. That's a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza, 10 breadsticks, 12 hot wings, and a 2-liter Pepsi. Only $33.99. Find your local Husson's at Husson'sPizza.com. And I got some text here, then we'll go to Ellen Allen. Text says, as an unaffiliated voter, I'm voting for More Capito in the Republican primary. Not because I like him, but because he's the least smelliest blank of the pile. But then I'm voting for Steve Williams for governor, reference to the Huntington mayor who is he's running as on the Democrat side. Texas, one thing people aren't looking for, especially women, is a Christian law-based government. Let's not turn West Virginia into a Christian Iran. Okay. The okay was them. That was an editorial comment on my part. Texas More Capito is anti-public education. He's part of the Women Haters Club, wants to do away with police and fire unions, and says the unions are a burden on government. Did not hear him say that. But maybe he said it somewhere else. Let's bring in Ellen Allen from West Virginians for Affordable Health Care. Ellen, no relation. Good morning. Welcome to the show. How are you?
No, I'm great, thanks.
Well, cuz.
You never know.
You have any ties to southern West Virginia at all? You ever been?
I do. I grew up in Mercer County.
Okay. Well, that's really southern West Virginia. Yeah. That's more southern than Logan County is.
It is.
All right.
It is.
All right. How'd you end up here, if you don't mind my asking?
I fell in love and came to work here, and I've been here in April, will be 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Where else have you been?
I grew up in Mercer County, spent a lot of time in Lewisburg. Love Greenbrier County. It's just beautiful. Made some really great friends, and that's kind of where I shifted to really wanting to spend my work in the nonprofit sector. So it's been really good.
Oh, well, welcome here, because you're doing some great things here, and happy holiday season as well.
Yeah, to you. Happy Winsters. solstice.
It is.
It'll be dark at 3:00.
Well, I think winter officially kicks in like at 10 o'clock tonight. I think. I'll be asleep.
Yeah.
I won't see it.
About an hour and a half.
You wanted to come on, Ellen, to talk about this new law that many may not know about. And again, I got information in front of me, but if I get anything wrong, jump in and correct me. It caps out-of-pocket cost for insulin at $35 a month, as I understand it, and various other diabetic supplies at $100 a month.
Right.
Now, the law kicks in January 1st. Is that right?
That's correct.
Talk about the road to get to this point.
Yeah, I'm glad you put it that way because, it has been a long road. Many people and organizations started working on it nationally, and, it was capped for Medicare, but, West Virginians wanted to do more for West Virginians, right? So it kind of started, Barbara Fleischauer got this group of West Virginians together to highlight the crazy cost of insulin, and she took a busload of people to Canada to buy insulin at a fraction of the cost of what it is in the States. So that really kicked off a big educational piece. And then many advocacy organizations worked with legislators, and Senate Bill 577 was passed, and it'll become effective January 1st. And it is a big deal. Capping insulin costs at $35 a month, and a key piece of that is the aggregate cost, because as I understand it, and this is something I learned that's kind of new, is many diabetics may take more than one type of insulin. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't cap it for like each insulin, it's aggregate. So
that means if they take 2 or 3, it's still $35 a month.
Yeah. Now, and we're leading the country in this. Some other states are doing that, I think maybe 5, but they're capping it at $100 a month. So we're capping it at $35. So I think that's such a big achievement for West Virginians. We lead the country in the rate of diabetes. Yeah. I think 240,000 West Virginians have it. We also know we don't have great data on children and youth as far as diabetes is concerned, but we do know it's another area where West Virginians lead the nation in youth obesity and being overweight. Something like 35.5% of West Virginia youth are either in the obese or overweight category, which leads to prediabetes, which leads to diabetes. So this can have a significant impact on the income in family households. And we all know we need to have health care, affordable health care. It doesn't help to have it if you can't afford it, right? So this is a big deal. We're really excited about it.
And again, this went through the legislature and without much of a hitch, right?
That's
So this
yeah.
this took people, Republicans and Democrats, working together on this.
I'm glad you brought that up too, because I think there's a misconception. There's a lot of consensus around getting health care to West Virginians. We see both parties working hard to make sure all West Virginians have access to health care. And I look for us to continue to work to make that better every day, every year in our work.
Again, we're talking with Ellen Allen from West Virginians for Affordable Health Care. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your local insurance experts from Brightway, the Mays Agency of Tays Valley. From your home to your car, even to your pet, Brightway, the Mays Agency will customize that perfect insurance plan for you. At Brightway, the Mays Agency, they aren't just agents, they're your friends and neighbors. Call John and Sherry Mays today, 304-814-2509, or visit brightwaymays.com. Your group, Ellen, West Virginians for Affordable Health Care, has sort of an educational campaign going on to tell folks about this. So it's a big part of it. It doesn't do any good to have this law passed and put this in effect if people don't know about it. So you're appearing on shows like this and doing radio and television and so on and so forth.
Trying
to get the word out. Talk about that.
Yeah, we're radios. Radio. I'm doing op-eds. We have a beautiful package of social media graphics that we've shared free with the public, and that's getting we're seeing that circulating around Facebook and Instagram. And it's really interesting too, because I looked at the comments under one of the graphics, and somebody said, well, that would be great if that were true. And I often don't comment, but I said, this is true. It's really, and I know that's important, because I know when we passed Medicaid expansion under the ACA, and I was working at Covenant House then, and we signed up over 300 people who'd never had health care in their life, and they didn't believe us until that card came in. So this is real. If you're rationing, here's what I'd like people to hear. If you're rationing your insulin because you have to make it last longer, that means I know you aren't feeling well. You're actually could be endangering your life, depending on how you ration it. You no longer have to do that. effective January 1, when you go to your pharmacist, you're going to be capped at $35 a month. So please believe it. It's true.
And the cost of health care in America, I mean, and this is not anything that we're kind of getting off subject here a little bit, but the cost of health care, I mean, a simple health flight if you're, heaven forbid, in a car accident, no matter what the medication is that you need, getting beyond diabetes, anything else, I mean, it's really, really through the roof.
It's through the roof, and it just gets worse every year. It outpaces inflation every single year. And
how did we get to that position, though? I mean, look, people know me, listen to the show all the time. I always say I'm the ultimate capitalist, and I get that, and I understand that. But how did we get to this point, Ellen, that it is so dang expensive for this stuff?
Well, I think, and I come from the capitalist sector too, and I'm not opposed to that. But I think we've gone so far in a profit margin versus looking at, okay, how can we have healthcare, whether it's drugs and therapies, that bring enough profit to keep people inventing, researching new therapies, new drugs, but also that makes it affordable. I mean, there are record profits in pharmaceutical industries. They have the strongest lobbyists of any lobbyist. So that's how I think we see a lot of these drugs continuing to increase. It wasn't until recently that we could even negotiate drug prices on Medicare. I mean, what's more American than negotiating on anything, right?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't we be able to negotiate on behalf of tens of millions of Americans their drug prices? We can make drugs affordable, and people, organizations, corporations can make a profit too, and that's how it should be. But maybe it has to be reeled in a little bit to where it's affordable for everybody and worth their while to do the work.
That's a good point, because when you go to buy an automobile, most people don't look at the sticker price and go, okay, I'll take it. Yeah. There's a little bit of negotiation, back and forth and so on and so forth. I know that you spend your time in advocacy, Ellen, but and maybe again this is something that's a little bit out of your ballpark, certainly out of mine. But how do we get people not to have to rely so much on diabetic medications? I mean, I know you're about affordable health care, but a lot of this is preventable. So much of it is preventable. Well, I mean, is there an education aspect? I mean, people know what they eat and what they do is bad, but how do we try to go about fixing this, I guess I should say?
I think there's a lot of people working hard on this, and a lot of foundations that are supporting organizations, even around oral health and how that can early in life contribute to chance of becoming a diabetic. So, activity, good nutrition. Despite that, some people still do get diabetes later in life. So, it's a combination of how we eat, how we move. It's all kind of wrapped up, but that doesn't always mean you won't become diabetic. Yeah. It certainly does. Weight control,
genetics.
But the best thing we can do is move, eat well, and hopefully have a genetic predisposition that you're less likely to get that.
So let's kind of review just a little bit. So what you're saying is effective January 1st, these diabetes medications have been capped at $35, and it doesn't matter whether you're on 1 or 2 or 3, it's still capped at $35, and a lot of the other supplies that go along with it are capped as well.
Yes, and they're capped at $100, so the supplies that go with that. So.
Is there a place online where people could go and learn more? Do you have this information available on your website or your social media?
Yes, look at our social media. If you're following our Facebook page, we're putting up a lot of information. We're writing op-eds. So, please follow us on Facebook, West Virginians for Affordable Healthcare, and that's where you'll probably see the most current, up-to-date information.
Okay. All right. Ellen, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And we'll have you on again a few times in the new year as well. I hope that you and yours have or as we would say in Southern West Virginia, you and yourn. Yeah. You and yourn have a very, very happy and safe holiday season. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dave. I love being here. Appreciate it.
All right. It is 25 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Bridge Valley. Are you interested in improving your company's IT workforce? Well, did you know Bridge Valley offers custom-tailored IT training to bridge the skills gap at Bridge Valley. You can train for little or no cost with a 50-50 salary match. Bridge Valley can also supply skilled graduates and apprenticeships for your company. Visit bridgevalley.edu/apprenticeships for more information. Let me knock out a couple texts here, then we'll bring in Lance Wheeler, Kanawha County Commissioner. Texas, I'm not sure, it wasn't clear, is more getting it done. It's a reference to more Capito, who referred to himself as the get it done conservative. Let me see. Text says the government capping the price of a product seems socialist. West Virginians seem to like benefits of socialism, but are quick to denounce it as part of political ideology, says a texter. Texter says, we have jobs because of Biden bills the Democrats passed. The Republicans voted against them. Trump didn't help our state one bit, says a texter. Text says, Dave, as of January 1st, a lot of meds will have a cap on them by the federal government. West Virginia Enriched, in collaboration with Huntington, invites you to witness the transformative power of Special Olympics. Take a few minutes to be inspired and join the collective effort in making a difference. Not just a story, it's a movement of hope, inclusiveness, and triumph, reminding us all that every individual deserves a chance to shine in West Virginia and beyond. Huntington is truly making a difference right here at home. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics now at facebook.com/580 WCHS. Ryan Nicholson is our producer today. Bigly Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Fruit Pharmacy text 304-935-5008. Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Hi, this is Eric J. Tarr with the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Our families here at Generations Physical Therapy, Snap Fitness, and General Hardware are hoping that your family has a Christmas that is everything it should be. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Having issues with your home like wet basements, water in your crawl space, bowing or leaning walls, or foundation cracks? You need Foster Construction, your foundation repair experts. Locally owned and operated, Foster Construction offers free inspections and estimates and has a licensed professional engineer on staff. Their services include basement and crawl space waterproofing, foundation repair, and retaining walls. Call 304-776-6263 and get started today. Online at fosterconstructionwv.com. Foster Construction. They'll fix it right the first time.
The time is finally here. It's the grand opening celebration of the all-new, redesigned Thornhill Toyota. Your next Toyota is waiting on the Thornhill Motor Mile in Chapmanville. Hey, this is Sydney, and I'm so excited to finally invite all of you to visit our new Thornhill Toyota facility. And just in time for Toyotathon, we're loaded and ready for your visit with the most inventory of the year of new Toyotas, certified Toyotas, and quality used vehicles. The grand opening celebration of the all-new Thornhill Toyota. Offers begin online at thornhilltoyotawv.com and drive on home from the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all the great details.
Hello, this is Richard Lindsay. I want to take a moment and recognize the people of Kanawha County who improve and enrich our lives every day. Our volunteers, our folks that protect us, our folks that serve, our advocates, our folks that care for the sick, our teachers, our folks who feed the poor and house the homeless, our folks that spread and live the Word of God. Thank you for all that you do. And from my family to yours and to everyone, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Let's talk about your business phone system. It's old and needs updated, but you probably think, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are many benefits to a new phone system from Comax Business Systems. The sound is much clearer. Everyone in your office can have a dedicated line that will remote call forward from their cell phones, and your voicemail will actually work. Comax's digital phone systems are competitively priced and efficient. Call Comax Business Systems for a free quote today. Comax Business Systems. We've kept West Virginia's business data safe, secure, and efficient for 25 years.
20 minutes away from Jam and Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, presented in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Whether you're replacing a roof, remodeling the kitchen, or replacing a bathroom, keep it safe and keep it legal. Get with Pinnacle Consultants. They can inspect your site, collect samples, perform lab analysis, and provide results within a week. Testing all renovations for mold, asbestos, and lead. It's the law in West Virginia. Visit pinnaclecorp.net for Pinnacle Consultants, because what you don't know can hurt you. Texas, every time I see more Capito in the show description, but then I realize it's not Shelley, and I'm immediately disappointed. That's a texter. I will leave that one alone. Hey, Lance Wheeler's here, Kanawha County Commissioner. How are you, sir?
Doing well. How are you doing, Dave?
I am doing fine. Thank you for being here. Hope you're having a wonderful Christmas season so far. As I channel my inner Paul McCartney there, I hope you're having a great, wonderful, wonderful Christmas time.
Well, as a native of Kanawha County, I don't think I've seen the Christmas spirit here in Kanawha County this big ever. I mean, there's so many events going on. There's so many things. People are putting lights in their houses. This is something that we didn't see a couple years ago. So, I mean, this is just absolutely wonderful.
Let's talk about some of these things going on. I mean, you got Holly Jolly Brawley, and you've got what's going on over there at the at Go-Mart Ballpark with the Slango Law Light the Night. It's a pretty festive place here, the Kanawha Valley, Commissioner.
Yeah, I mean, there's events going on everywhere. Big kudos to Mayor Goodwin and her team. I think they've done an excellent job there on Capitol Street and Slack Plaza, putting all these events together. My wife and our 2-year-old daughter, we've been able to experience some of those events, with her. And to have that opportunity here in this community, I think it's just fabulous.
I saw a report recently that Kanawha County Commissioner is going to be updating their emergency radio systems soon. So talk about that.
Yeah, this is
why is it needed?
Well, it's absolutely needed, and this is the discussions that are always boring to some people, right? Mm-hmm. But it's important, So
it's only boring until it happens to you.
Exactly,
and then it suddenly becomes important. But go ahead.
Exactly, and so Kanawha County is actually in a very special place to the fact that we own 7 of our radio towers here in the county for our EMS and Metro 911. That's important because a lot of counties and other areas, even outside the state, they lease these towers and they pay a monthly fee every month. It gets very expensive. So the Kanawha County Commission bought these towers and we own them. However, as you know, when you own something, you're responsible for the operation and maintenance. And we're getting to that point now where we need to have those discussions. These towers were built back in the 1970s. Mm-hmm. And some
things don't last forever.
No, and some of your listeners might be looking at their cell phone right now and going, this phone's not being as fast as it once was just a couple years ago. Well, imagine this technology. So the Kanawha County Commission, through our emergency management and Metro 911, we got staff to look into our towers and how we can upgrade them, be state of the art. We're in touch with a company called Zetron, and essentially, in layman's terms, this is digitizing these towers, making them more efficient and making them cleaner, and also being able to expand the range that they can have for our first responders who are trying to communicate with each other, communicate with Metro 911, our telecommunicators trying to dispatch. These conversations that they have are very vital in that it's seconds matter. And we need to make sure these messages are clear, that you can hear them over radio. I mean, Dave, you've probably listened to a scanner before, and sometimes they come mumbled and it's reverb and it's difficult to hear. They struggle with that here in Kanawha County, and we want to make sure that we do something that we can improve. Zetron's telling us that they can make this voice clear, they can make these messages clear, and that we can actually expand the range in some of these what us West Virginians call hollers.
Indeed. And I don't think sometimes people realize how big of a county Kanawha County is. I mean, geographically speaking, you go from, Campbell's Creek to St. Albans to, it's a pretty, down through Marmette and that way. It's a pretty big county.
Well, and Zetron, who we've hired as our consultants for this, they said the same thing. They said, you are in a very special topography in the fact that you have very urban cities like St. Albans, Charleston, but you also have these rural areas with this, these mountains and these valleys. And so we have to be very precise of where these towers are, what type of bandwidth they're producing, and making sure that we're able to not just get clear messages on the streets of Charleston for our police departments, fire departments, but also being able to have the range to go into a valley where there's a little holler of 3 houses. And this is how it all started. Our volunteer fire departments came to us and said, hey, we're running some fire calls and we can't hear Metro. They can hear us, but we can't hear them. And that's dangerous right there.
Sure.
We don't want a situation where they're calling for backup because the fire's out of control, but Metro 911 can't hear them. Those are very small, minuscule areas, but we don't want those happen at all. So what we're told is that with this new state-of-the-art technology of upgrading our radio towers, we're going to be able to expand that out and actually be able to make sure that those calls are coming in.
What kind of timeline are we looking at for this, Commissioner?
Well, so this is going to be 18 months. The Kanawha County Commission, Commissioner Carper, Salango, myself, we're still discussing it. The biggest issue here, and it's always the bigger issue with the project, is the price tag. Mm-hmm. We're told that over 5 years, this is going to cost us $3 million. That's a lot of money. We need to figure out where that money is going to come from. My suggestion would be our public safety grant money, which we have that money because the voters have year in, year out voted for our special levy that we use to go just to first responders. But we can maybe use that money to make the initial payments. But this is a project that we have to do because right now we're lucky. 99% of the calls coming in have been clear, but it's that 1% that we're worried about. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to put any of our first responders in a situation where they're in danger and we can't communicate with them.
Well, that 1% means it may not, in the big picture of things, Commissioner, seem like a lot, but when it's your grandmother, when it's your kid, it's a totally different story.
When it's your brother who's a police officer, when it's your uncle who is a fire department, in the fire department, it's more. It's very important that we make sure these conversations are had through 911, but making sure that the first responders hear the message, they understand it, and they can call in for backup if they need it. That's what's important for this. And this is why we have put so much effort into looking into this. And I think that this is something that we need to do. Unfortunately, that price tag is high, but if we don't do this now, what happens next year when a call can't be made through Metro 911 and somebody gets hurt or even worse, death?
Yeah. Talking to Kanawha County Commissioner Lance Wheeler. It's about 13 minutes now before 10 o'clock. Commissioner, it's the Christmas weekend. We're from the looks of my drive-in from Tays Valley this morning, I think some people are already off because there wasn't a heck of a lot of traffic out this morning. It's only going to increase. But that means there's more. I mean, by that, I mean there's not as many people going to work. They're still going to be out on the roads, of course. And the way the calendar falls this year, over the weekend kind of can lead to some problems. You got more police presence out on the road. So talk about our police out there. I know that's something that's a big interest to you.
Yeah, just the other day I was having a conversation with our Kanawha County Sheriff's Department with Mike Rutherford and Joey Crawford, the chief, and I wanted to make sure that we were, as we have always done year in and year out, making sure that we have extra presence of deputies on the streets during this holiday season. They tell me that is going to happen. We're going to have 5 to 7 more police officers, making sure that there are, checking for DUIs, looking for impaired driving. We always encourage everyone to enjoy the Christmas season, enjoy this with family and have fun. But we also want to make sure everyone knows, drink responsible. Don't drink or drive, ride with anyone who does. But if you do, we're going to find you, and we're going to make sure that, the full law of presence comes to you. And, it's important because we want to make sure everyone feels safe this holiday season. You don't want a lot of people are traveling from out of state coming in here. Yeah. We've talked about this before. How many people from West Virginia live out of state and their families have to come in? We want to make sure everyone's safe. So we're going to keep that presence up, not just here for Christmas, but for New Year's as well. And just continue to remind everyone, please drink responsibly. Please be safe, and don't get on the road if you're impaired. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Absolutely, you're right about that. A couple things before we let you go. I know you've been out promoting safety as it comes to Christmas trees this season, Commissioner. Talk about that.
Well, I think it's something that we talk about a lot every year, and maybe some people don't think much about it because it hasn't happened to them. But we want to make sure everyone's safe this year. I've had so many people come to me and tell me they got talk about the Christmas spirit, real Christmas trees this year. And that's wonderful. It's great to have a real Christmas tree. It's great to celebrate the holiday season. But you have to remember, Christmas trees need water. Mm-hmm. And we always say Christmas trees are flammable. A dry Christmas tree is very flammable. So make sure that you're watering that tree every morning, every night. Make sure that you're checking the lights, the wires. They're not frayed from cats or tears. We see about 200 Christmas tree fires every year in this nation. That doesn't seem like a lot, but don't be one of those 200. Make sure you're checking on it. Don't keep a heat source near it. I know this sounds like common sense things, but make sure that you're just being, due diligent and keeping safe this holiday season.
As a former wise old co-worker of mine used to say, if common sense were common, everyone would have it.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
And one last thing on safety. I know I talked to the Sheriff's Department, and they want to make sure they've been hearing some extra reports of what we call porch pirates. So, a lot of people are ordering their Christmas presents, especially late right now. I don't know about you, Dave, but I am. But But if you get any presents that come on the porch, keep an eye on it. Make sure you're picking them up and don't leave them overnight.
Look out for your neighbors too.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure your neighbors, if they see them, hide them. Make sure they're out of plain view. But just be safe this season, and we're going to continue to keep the presence up with our law enforcement and do everything we can to protect everybody.
Before we let you go, Commissioner, I want to talk about the year that was 2023 in Kanawha County, maybe a little preview for 2024. Just talk about in general what kind of a year it was for Kanawha County. I know there's a lot of growth in the county with businesses and so on and so forth. Talk about that, and where do we head in 2024?
Well, I think we've talked to the Secretary of State, Mac Warner, and he's told us that there's been more business opening up here in Kanawha County than any other county in the state. We also seeing that all the major announcements we had, the dirt bike trails out near Meadowwood, the Capital City Sports Complex discussion, the Coonskin Park golf course. I mean, these have been huge upgrades. Everything that the city of Charleston has done, including all the other municipalities, the $1 million we've put into the demolition of dilapidated structures. I mean, the list goes on and on. The great things that's happened here this year. And, I didn't know you were going to ask me that question. And I started thinking, there's so much to talk about. I don't know if I have enough time, but
we'll have you back then.
Yeah, well, and we'll make sure that we're going to continue this progress. And I think there's going to be some pretty big announcements coming up just in January that you might want to have me back on to talk about.
All right. Any preview for us?
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
So there's a big announcement of some sort coming in January. That's all we know at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, well, you let me know when you want back on. We'll let you talk about it. Lance, I appreciate you being here as always. Commissioner Lance Wheeler, thanks for being here. Hope you and your family have a wonderful Christmas season, my friend. Thank you.
And Dave, thanks for having me on. Same to you and same to your listeners as well. Have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
All right, hang out with me 1 second here. It's 8 minutes away from Tampa. Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by East Coast Tees and the Vinyl Frontier. Political candidates, East Coast Tees is more than just T-shirts. They can do all your custom embroidery on hats, shirts of all kinds. Make your campaign and your name stand out with East Coast Tees. Get those campaign signs. I don't know whether you knew this or not, Lance, but it's an election year coming up.
It's coming up.
Really? Yeah. They should publicize that more. You ain't seen nothing yet, but the bottom line is if you are running for any office and you need some kind of campaign signs, T-shirts, whatever, get with the folks at East Coast Tees. Visit eastcoasttees.com and see what they can do for you. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
When you meet someone for the first time, a beautiful smile is the best first impression. If you desire a beautiful smile, no matter where you are in your dental journey, let Garib Dental Group and their experienced dental professionals help make it a reality. From routine cleanings to complex cosmetic treatment, simple fillings to advanced implant placement, Garib Dental Group is prepared to handle any smile. And with the latest technology conveniently placed at each of their 6 locations, Garib Dental Group is prepared to handle the most complex treatment plans. Visit GaribDentalGroup.com to learn more. We love to see your smile.
At Stike Wealth Enhancement Group, we believe a better investment experience for investors begins with independent, personalized advice. Hi, I'm Jim Goolsby, and I'm happy to be a part of Stike Wealth Enhancement Group. If you're considering retirement or would like to put a plan in place for your current and future investment needs, reach out to us at Stike Wealth Enhancement Group, 304-443-4247, or jgoolsby at stikewealth.com.
Securities and advisory service offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA.
The time is finally here. It's the grand opening celebration of the all-new, redesigned Thornhill Toyota. Your next Toyota is waiting on the Thornhill Motor Mile in Chapmanville. Hey, this is Sydney, and I'm so excited to finally invite all of you to visit our new Thornhill Toyota facility. And just in time for Toyotathon, we're loaded and ready for your visit with the most inventory of the year of new Toyotas, certified Toyotas, and quality used vehicles. The grand opening celebration of the all-new Thornhill Toyota. Offers begin online at ThornhillToyotaWV.com and drive on home from the Thornhill Motor Mile, US 119 Chapmanville. Visit Thornhill for all the great details.
You can't beat open air barbecue. Fat Daddy's on the tracks is this week's 50-50 Friday. You have to try their signature Fat Daddy dog that comes with homemade chili and white cheddar cheese. Plus, they have delicious items like smoked pulled pork and brisket, steak and shrimp bowl, honey butter wings, and more. Order online or with DoorDash and Grubhub. Fat Daddy's on the tracks, located in the Elk City District. Friday at 9 a.m. Go to WCHSnetwork.com and click the 50-50 Friday button to get 50% off gift certificates for Fat Daddy, courtesy of the WCHS family of networks.
5 away from 10 phone calls to the show. A service of Biggly Piggly Wiggly. When shopping at your Biggly Piggly Wiggly, be sure to join their loyalty program. You can save big at the gas pumps and throughout the store with their electronic coupons and free gifts on Fridays just for stopping by from farm to table. Biggly Piggly Wiggly, the best kept secret in Charleston. Texting services provided by Fruth Pharmacy, your hometown family pharmacy. And of course, Fruth is out with their and have been with their holiday guide. Find gifts under $10. Super savers, hot buys, brand new products for the holidays, gift sets for men and women, toys for the tots, cozy throws, quilts, and more. Shop locally. Shop Fruth Pharmacy. And they have been your hometown family pharmacy for 71 years. Of course, I want to get this in here, sports related, that the WCHS network of stations were your sources for the Duke's Mayo Bowl, with the Mountaineers taking on North Carolina next Wednesday. Listen for live coverage of the game, plus daily bowl reports and expert WVU commentary, all presented by Stike Wealth Enhancement Group. Text says, ask Commissioner Wheeler what would have happened in Kanawha County had it never received the $34.5 million ARP, that's American Rescue Plan funding, like Alex Mooney, Carol Miller, and Shelley Moore Capito wanted. Text says it was the career departments, fire departments, who went to 911 for better communication systems, not volunteers. It's bad out there right now, according to a texter. A couple of quick notes. This evening after work, join Steve Animal from her sister station 987 The Mountain Wild Wonderful Classic Rock at Bar 101 on Capitol Street starting around 5. Good way to unwind after work. Steve will have a lot of giveaways, plus the exclusive Bar 101 special. That's a cheeseburger, fries, and a cold draft beer, only $15. Bar 101 with Steve Animal on the Mountain after 5 today. And tomorrow is the day, the annual Jewish Christmas Spectacular here on the show. Not just your average Friday funhouse. Of course, you know, it's always politics free on Fridays, but this one's going to be a little bit different in the fact that we are going to have with us Delegate and State Democratic Party Chair Mike Pushkin, not allowed to talk politics tomorrow. Pushkin has been barred from discussing politics, but he's done this show. He's done this for the last couple of years. He brings his guitar in, entertains us with a couple of Christmas tunes. We are expecting a visit tomorrow as well from singer Kate Boytek. Brian Hughes from Storm Tracker 13 is going to stop by. Hannah Gardner is going to be live in studio with our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week, and we're going to have anybody else we can throw in this studio tomorrow morning. Just kind of a little outgoing Christmas party here, and it's all brought to you by Rich Lindsay, so we appreciate Mr. Lindsay for taking care of that. We're going to have personalities from our other stations. I've heard Santa Claus Ryan is possibly going to be here as well. Indeed, got Ryan's attention in there, so it's all coming up tomorrow. The Jewish Christmas Spectacular with Pushkin and Dave and a cast of thousands, brought to you by Rich Lindsay, coming up tomorrow morning. I'm going to close with this. Remember the TV show Dukes of Hazzard? Well, if you're a Gen X kid like I am, then I'm sure that you do. Well, Bo Duke, John Schneider, who's been spending a lot of time in West Virginia, by the way. He was actually in here promoting, I think he's got a brand of moonshine or something like that, doing some work with some local distilleries. John Schneider, Bo Duke, finds himself, Ryan, in a bit of hot water on Twitter or X. He tweeted or X'd, Mr. President, this is his words, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. Your son, too. And your response is, ? Sincerely, John Schneider. So, you know, that he tweeted, X'd that. I'll never get used to saying X'd, but he X'd that in response to something that the president had put out. Again, I believe you're guilty. This is Bo Duke talking. Okay, I believe you are guilty of treason and should be publicly hung. Well, actually, it should be publicly hanged, I believe, not publicly hung. Your son, too. Sincerely, John Schneider. Now, I was reading this debate on this online this morning. Again, this is all coming from, seems like such a likable guy with the General Lee and everything. But if you say that's free speech, okay, but a threat to the president is a Class D felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison and a maximum fine of $250,000. And some people are calling for it. I saw on X this morning that it said John Schneider was trending, and at my age, I see a celebrity trending. I think, okay, well, he died. Well, no, he didn't die. He just called for the public execution of the president, which I don't think is a cool thing there. What would Uncle Jesse say? All right, we got to go. My producer was Ryan Nicholson. Thank you to him. Thanks to you, to Moore Capito, to Ellen Allen, and to Commissioner Lance Wheeler for being on the show today as well. Hoppy's coming up next. Follow the news of the day, WVMetroNews.com, WCHSNetwork.com. Tomorrow is our Jewish Christmas Spectacular, folks. We'll see you then. Until then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.
Why don't more infant formula companies use organic, grass-fed whole milk instead of skim? Why don't more infant formula companies use the latest breast milk science? Why don't more infant formula companies run their own clinical trials? Why don't more infant formula companies use more of the proteins found in breast milk? Why don't more infant formula companies have their own factories instead of outsourcing their manufacturing? We wondered the same thing. So we made ByHeart, a better formula for formula. Learn more at byheart.com.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woo-hooer, a hand clapper, a high-fiver? I kind of like the high-five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.